Hey everyone, I am here with Elise Melvin, and you may recognize her from her recent time on the show Sing On, which is on Netflix. She was doing the summer anthems one, awesome. And we're gonna just learn a little bit more about her. Elise, why don't you start off by telling us about your background and what got you started in music?
Yeah, first of all, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. But yeah, I've always sang, as cliche as that sounds, just kind of grew up in a musical family. My mom was in choir at church, and then she taught church choir. And so I kind of learned a little bit about music from her. And then as I got older, my parents were like, hey, you can sing and, you keep pitch and you can actually mimic what some of the other singers are doing. We would love to put you in vocal lessons. Is that something you want to do, And I was 11 and I was like, yeah, this sounds great. Like, that sounds so fun. And so I took lessons for about 12 years and just honed the craft and learned more about it and just like entered any competition I could or singing contests, anything like that. Loved to perform every chance I got. I tried to be on a stage. And then as I got into high school, I realized I could kind of do it as a profession. And I was fortunate enough to get a 5-year full ride scholarship at the University of Memphis for singing. So that was really cool. And I got to go and tour and sing to students all over the South and try to bring them in and recruit them to the University of Memphis. So that was a lot of fun, singing to just auditoriums filled with kids, and we're singing, top hits that they like. So they're all dancing and they're excited to be out of class. And but yeah, and then I just wanted to move up to Nashville, and I saved up for a year after I graduated and came to Nashville. Didn't really have a plan and have kind of found my way a little bit.
Yeah, totally. Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
you're in country music city, but you also sing a lot of songs that are more on the pop side. Can you tell me about your inspirations and your sound as well?
Yeah, so my biggest inspiration is Celine Dion.
Yep.
Which she's not country at all. But she's amazing.
But it's Celine Dion. You can't go wrong, right?
Right, exactly. So I would have to say my biggest three inspirations growing up as a kid was Celine Dion. Michael Jackson was definitely a big influence, and then Shania Twain. She's a great one. Yeah. So I really just listened to those three artists' music so much when I was growing up, and just watch their music videos and would come home from school every day and dance to their songs and do all that stuff. So I mean, they kind of were they were the biggest influences that I had as a child. Of course, other country artists, and then Carrie came along and she's been a great influence. Miranda Lambert's amazing. But I love all kinds of music. I love pop, gospel, rock, soul music. Growing up in Memphis, a lot of R&B influences, B.B. King, Aretha Franklin, all those great artists. So just being in Memphis, I guess, kind of got me on the pop soul, and then I realized I kind of had that Tennessee twang, so I just was like, I'll do country.
Perfect. Well, we love it. Can you tell me a little bit about your songwriting process and any songs you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, so I still don't see myself as a songwriter. I need to, because I'm writing songs more. But I moved to Nashville. I never really wrote songs. I didn't realize that was a thing until I got here, and was like, oh, you have to write your own music too. Okay. And so just finding people that, are willing to work with you, being a new, new writer, you're not the best at it, obviously, right away. You got to build that skill. So I've been fortunate enough to meet some awesome people that are so sweet, so patient with me. They've grown as writers with me. And we've just been writing every chance we can for about 3 years now, and just, put out songs a lot faster now than I used to. And each writing process is different. That's why I love it. It could take 45 minutes to write a song, or it could take, a week to write a song. So it's just different every time. And it's just cool to throw an idea out there and then kind of see what comes of it. So it's a lot of fun.
Awesome. Can you tell me about performing and your favorite parts about performing?
Sure. I love performing. There's nothing like it. It's just such a rush. It's so fun to be center stage and, just have all those eyes on you and just have people cheering and all of that. It's such a great energy. There's nothing like it. Just sitting, like I said, center stage, you hit that high note and it's just so fulfilling and everyone cheers and it's great.
Awesome. Well, we saw all of that performance quality on the Sing On episode. You won the Titus Award for that, so totally all there. You've got it down. Awesome. And moving on to that and that experience, do you want to tell me how the process was for getting on the show and your experience on it?
Yeah. So it was a great experience all around. The process to get on the show, when I first auditioned, I guess we had to fill out all these this paperwork. I didn't even know what I was filling it out for. One of my friends posted on her social media on Instagram in a story saying, if you like to sing karaoke, sign up for this contest. So I was like, oh, it's a karaoke contest. Okay. So I figured, just go and compete, maybe win a little bit of cash. And It was like 45-minute, like I had to fill all this information out. It took forever. They wanted me to send videos of me singing. And I was like, well, this is very meticulous for just a karaoke singing podcast. I was like, okay, well, whatever. And so I sent it off, and I honestly forgot about it for about 3 weeks because I didn't hear anything back. And then they were like, hey, we're in Nashville, we're doing auditions, come by and do an audition. And I was real sick. I had 100-degree fever. I could barely I had all congestion and everything. And I was like, you know what? It's like, I'm just going to go for it. All they can say is no. And so I went and auditioned on top of being sick, and honestly, again, kind of forgot about it because I didn't hear from anybody for about 3 or 4 weeks. And I was like, oh, I didn't make it, like, whatever. And then I got an email stating, you're one of our final contestants that's being considered. And I was like, oh my gosh. So at that point, didn't even know it was for Netflix, didn't even know it was a game show, just like, oh, cool, I'm a karaoke contest. Like, that's cool. And then they just kind of started giving us all these pieces of information saying, yeah, well, it's going to be on a streaming platform and on TV. And I was like, what? Like actual TV? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, that's cool. And they were like, yeah, you got to get a passport. And I was like, well, why do I have to get a passport? And they're like, we're flying you to England. And I was like, I'm going to England? And I was like, that's amazing. So just like all this information kind of trickled in, just randomly, like just slowly started piecing everything together. I don't think I knew until the week beforehand that it was Netflix, that they were going to have it on, and it was a game show. They just kind of told us we were going to sing and it was going to be fun, and we were going to be judged through like a vocal analyzer, which they did. But they never kind of told us it was a game show thing. And then we get there and they're like, oh, it's a game show and everything. And they dropped like 2 hours before we started filming that we had to vote each other off, and we were just like, no.
Yeah. You guys all seem so close, and so it seemed so hard for you guys to vote each other off, and I was like, I don't know how I would even choose.
Yes, it was so hard. Well, we all hung out together for about 2 days beforehand, so we had become friends.
Yeah.
And everyone just thought we were going to be voted on our pitch and how well we can sing and stuff like that. So there was no competition really until they said that. And just everyone was like, no.
I know, it was so hard for me because I loved hearing everyone sing, and I was like, I don't want anyone to leave.
Yeah, I know.
And it was very interesting with the voting because it was like maybe the strongest vocalist was not in the next round because of the voting process. So it was very interesting, and you were definitely one of the stronger vocalists, I believe. But yeah, everyone sounded so cool, but it also totally depended on the song, because everyone normally chooses a song based on their own sound, and so that was very interesting to see, and interesting development of the show, which was kept it surprising though.
It was very entertaining. It was so fun, such a fun experience, and all the contestants are so nice, and we're still friends, and we still chat almost every day on Instagram, and so it was a wonderful experience all around.
That's so great. And it seemed like Titus was awesome.
He was so sweet. I can't say that enough. You always think like celebrities like that are kind of going to be standoffish or, kind of like, oh, like, don't talk to me. But he was so kind. He came up and hugged all of us and just gave each of us a compliment that was just very sincere and sweet. And he was like, I wish you all the best luck. And he was like, we're just going to have fun and nobody worry about it. And he was so funny. And he was just so kind. He wanted to take a picture afterwards. And so we all grouped together and got to take a little picture, which was so cool. Secretly wanted that. I'm so glad that happened.
Yes, totally. Yeah. Hey, and you got the whole show and be like, I was here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they took our phones because we couldn't release any information. So they took our phones and like put them in Ziploc baggies and like we had to sign like a non-disclosure agreement and stuff at the time. And they were very serious about keeping it a secret. So
Yeah, well, that's so cool. And of course, you had a trip to England too, so that was awesome.
that was so awesome. And I got to extend it, which was also because I've done TV shows and things like that before, and they're always so kind to pay for the flight there, and then they'll send you back. So I was like, well, they have to send me back anyway. I was like, what? I was like, can I extend my trip? I asked. And they're like, yeah, sure, as long as, we're not responsible for you after the show. And I was like, yeah, I was like, that's fine. I was like, that's totally fine. So I got to stay for, a couple extra days and hang out with some friends that I know over there. And it was so fun just to have a free trip to England. It was great.
Yes. Well, I miss traveling, I'm sure, as much as you do. So it's great that you got that in right beforehand.
No, I got so lucky I didn't get stuck over there.
Yes, definitely. Well, can you tell me more about your future plans moving forward? Any new music in the works?
So always writing songs, always wanting to release songs. But I am planning on kind of releasing some new music at the beginning of 2021. Obviously, 2020 was kind of, crappy year for a lot of people, especially music with concerts and everything being canceled. So 2021, hopefully things will get back to normal sooner than later. And planning on releasing some music for that. I would like to do a 3 or 4 song EP. So I don't know if I'm going to do that or if I'm going to release them as singles or what exactly, but planning all that out and working with some people, have written some of what I think are my best songs. And so I'm excited to get them out and have the fans listen to them and see if they like them. So.
Oh, I bet they'll be great. Well, we're excited, and definitely let us know when they come out. We'll be happy to share them.
Oh my gosh, thank you. Absolutely.
Of course. For the meantime, do you mind telling us where we can find your music now?
Yeah, so you can find my music on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, basically any streaming platform. You can just look me up at Elise. It's not I don't have Melvin on there as a last name, so it's just Elise. And you can also follow me on all my social media, which is I am Elise Music. So that is for Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, everything. So super easy, kept it the same.
Love it.
But yeah, and it's also on my website, which is linked to all my socials as well, which is www.iamelisemusic.com. So all my music is up there as well. So, and you can buy a CD if you want to.
Great. Perfect. I love it. We'll be sure to listen and spend the whole afternoon listening. Why not? And if you haven't already, please go watch Sing On. Summer Anthems episode is the one Elise is on, but you can watch the whole season. It's pretty fun, actually.
The whole season's really fun. I've watched every episode, and they're all entertaining.
Yeah, they're all super entertaining, and they're all different. They all have like their own theme, which I think is really cool as well.
Yeah. I almost was on the country episode. And so they were like,
I initially looked at the country one, and I was like, maybe she's on this one. And then I was like, nope, she's on the Summer Anthems one. But I love them both.
Yeah. Well, I think on the summer episode, on the country episode, the girl who won also lives in Nashville. So lots of Nashville people here on the show. So that was really cool to like meet everyone and be like, where are you from? I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm from the same place. Like, what are the chances? So, but it is Music City. So you never know.
Exactly. So many great people and artists in Nashville to collaborate with. And that's the fun part about living there, as well as just all the free concerts and everything that are happening. So
true.
Awesome. Well, it was a pleasure speaking with you. I look forward to everything that's coming up for you, and keep in touch.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you.